breaking barriers and bridging the gaps between patients and doctors. Welcome to Brainstorming with the Docs and your co-hosts, Dr. Glenn Harrison and Dr. Kolby Condos.
All right, everyone, welcome back to this week's episode of Brainstorming with the Docs. I'm Dr. Kolby Condos, my co-host and good friend, Dr. Glenn Harrison. What's up, buddy?
Doing great. I'm doing really good. I like this topic. This is kind of frustrating. It's a frustrating topic.
Yes, this is a current topic too. I think that's something that's affected literally just about everyone in the United States.
Except two states.
Except for two states. Yeah, Arizona and Hawaii, right?
Yeah.
Those two last holdouts were spared.
Rebels.
they rebelled and they held out, and God bless them. I think that maybe some of the other states will probably follow here shortly. In fact,
they have better cardiovascular health.
Yeah. Oh yeah. This is going to be huge. I think that it's going to be huge. It's going to be absolutely huge. This is something that actually took place last week, and today we're going to be talking about time change and what are some of the negative health consequences that is associated with the time change. If this is your first time listening and you get value out of this content, please hit like and subscribe and turn on notifications so that you continue to get the information when it rolls out, because we do it each and every week, and you never know when we might roll out something that you think is interesting or applies to you. So yeah, let's talk about time change.
Okay. Well, it's the interesting thing is the morning after time change, everybody is groggy. It doesn't matter what meeting you're in or who you're around. Everybody is frustrated with their sleep. It's just it's somewhat quite miserable. And it's not just one day. The next day after, people are still recovering from the time change. And I think the really amazing thing of this is it's 1 hour.
Yeah.
Only 1 hour.
Well, when you think about it, you're like, how did this even come about? And I actually was curious about this because I was like, this is so stupid. Like, what? Why? Like, I was so tired for like a week, and it actually was for the farmers initially, so that they could, like, I don't know if it was like to get their crops in or what, but they actually did the time change so that it would facilitate the farmers. I don't know why, getting their seeds in or what. But yeah, when you look at it, I think that this really, if you look at the whole information, like the whole data, the whole package of data, 1 hour can really impact your health in a pretty dramatic way. And we actually pulled some statistics on this that's going to really hammer this point home and maybe make you really question why the heck we're actually doing this, right?
Yeah. Turn off your alarm clock and show up to work an hour late and just say, this is what it is.
If you need a doctor's note, Dr. Glenn said he'd do it. Dr. Glenn said I could show up late for work 1 hour.
Get an Arizona or a Hawaiian doctor. They'll do it.
Yeah, 100%.
So maybe talk a little bit about a couple of hormones and how this time change really hits people and why.
Yes. So when we look at the sleep pattern, right, they call it your circadian rhythm. Your circadian rhythm is kind of dictated by two hormones. We're going to dumb it down a little bit because you guys don't care. But it's all the production of melatonin and cortisol, and where those hormones fit within a certain rhythm, I guess is a good way of saying it. When you actually change your sleep schedule, even if it's by 1 hour, right, then it's going to actually skew the release of those hormones because your body does not adapt quickly enough to regulate that cycle again.
That's right. That's right. It's not like flipping a switch.
Yeah.
And this rhythm is too embedded. And I think this rhythm is really interesting because even, back in the day, I worked in the mining industry and I know you worked shift work as well in the oil field. And when I was night shift, we would, try to black out everything so we could sleep during the day. It didn't matter. You never ever slept like you could at nighttime if you were night shift. And after however many weeks or months you were on that shift, you were really a train wreck. And the older you were, the harder it was to adapt. The younger you were, the easier it was to adapt. But you still didn't completely adapt. And then we would get statistics from mining organizations who had this shift work, and they would see higher rates of alcoholism, higher rates of diabetes, higher rates of heart disease and stroke and cancer just from being on night shift. So
right. Well, I actually read an interesting statistic on this where people who work shift work are actually, they on average die 10 years earlier than their peers who do not ever work shift work.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. That's kind of crazy when you think about it.
It is. That means you'd have to make a whole lot more money.
Yeah.
You're losing 10
you're
years of income.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Yeah. The good news is I guess if you don't make more money, you only have to enjoy it for 10 years less, you know?
Yeah.
So you won't spend it all the way.
That's pretty wild. But yeah, the body can't adapt that quickly. And it's just 1 hour. And I think this is really interesting. And I know we've talked about sleep. I think we have a podcast on sleep.
Oh yeah. 100% sleep habits, sleep hygiene.
Yeah. And literally if someone, we think of 1 hour affecting the entire country, and anyone else is doing time change. What happens when we sleep in? When we sleep in on the weekend, and then our sleep patterns, Kitty, get shifted out a little bit more. We wake up a little bit later, and then Monday, slam, bang, you got to wake up. You're 2 hours out maybe. Every Monday, there's higher rates of incidence of car accidents, just kind of like this, higher rates of heart disease and I should say heart attacks on a Monday. And it's because people fell out of their sleep patterns by 2 to 3 hours by the time Monday comes around.
Yeah, I think that this is a perfect segue for you to drop some of those statistics on us that you pulled.
Yeah.
These are pretty astounding. Like I was talking to my wife about this after we outlined this last time, and it is pretty crazy.
Yeah. So here's one of them. Hospitals report a 24% increase in heart attacks the Monday after time change.
24%. That's huge.
That's 1 in 4.
1 in 4.
One in 4 increase, and 6% increase in car accidents.
Yeah, what is that? 28 motor vehicle deaths each year that they attribute to time change. 28 people die because of time change just from motor vehicle accidents. 1 hour
difference in your sleep.
And that's crazy too, because this data was pulled over 20 years. It's not like they did it over 1 year and they're like, oh yeah, this year we had no, this is over 20 years. That's a pretty large data set.
That's true. And what is this all? What is the moral of our story today? Well, I think the moral of our story is Hawaii and Arizona's got it right.
Yeah.
and
stay strong.
And primitive cultures, the earlier cultures, they didn't have a time change. They didn't lie to themselves. But there's drastic health
implications.
From 1 hour. So referring back to our sleep podcast, what happens if you sleep in on a Saturday morning to, I don't know, maybe it's an hour different, right? Because you don't have to wake up. So you sleep in an hour. And then that's Saturday morning. And then Sunday, you wake up later Saturday. So you're going to sleep a little bit later on go to bed a little bit later on Saturday night. So then you wake up, now maybe you're 2 hours out from what you were, you say even an hour and a half, and then Monday rolls around and it hits you like a ton of bricks. You feel like crap. There's a higher risk of getting into a car accident, higher risk of having a stroke or a heart attack. So the sleep patterns are absolutely imperative for overall health. And if we ignore these sleep patterns and we're trying to improve our health, we are literally inducing a time change on ourselves every Monday.
Yeah.
Every Monday.
And obviously, if you guys have more questions on this, refer back to our sleep hygiene podcast because we cover this a little bit more in depth. Sleep is incredibly important for the restorative, reparative processes. It's when a lot of the energy for our body is made.
Emotional
super
health.
important.
Yeah,
super important.
Yeah.
So, that's it. I mean, that's it. That was a pretty brief one, but
so move to Arizona or Hawaii.
Yeah. When I retire, I'm going somewhere without a time change.
That's right. Or you said you read something that maybe your state might.
Yeah, my wife just told me that Minnesota's thinking about doing away with it.
I think a lot of states have said that over the years. It just never.
Yeah, I think that this one actually is in the legislature right now. So I think that it's actually going through either the House or the Senate. I don't know. I guess we'll see. I unfortunately put my foot in my mouth. I was like, "What? They're gonna do it this year?" She's like, "Well, I mean, it happened last week, so no." Well, that's embarrassing. I'll obviously that sleep loss, that sleep deprivation really affected me, and I'll be upstairs in my bedroom
catching up.
Yeah.
So I think that's all I have for this one. I think that's as far as we need to go. We just need to move, and everything should be okay.
Yeah, and obviously put a little focus on your sleep habits and your sleep hygiene. Refer back to the old podcast on sleep. I can't remember what episode it is, but If you just search for sleep hygiene, it'll be up there. If you like this content, you find it funny or got value out of it, or you think Dr. Glenn's attractive, something like that, he's got that smooth, sensual voice. Please hit like and subscribe and turn on notifications, because we're going to continue to roll out new content each and every week.
Oh, thank you, Doctor.
Yeah. You can get a hold of us at info@brainstormingwiththedocs.com. My website is northlakeschiropractic.com. Dr. Glenn's is drgharrison.com. There's a ton of information on those websites as well, or refer back to the podcast or the YouTube channel, and there's a ton of stuff on there as well. So
right.
I like this one. This was kind of fun, light, brief.
Light.
Yeah.
To the point.
Yeah.
Ready for a nap now.
Yeah, I am. It's getting late here.
All right. Well, you have a good one. I look forward to the next one.
All right. Sounds good, buddy. Bye.